Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Javier Ortiz.
What is up, my nerds?
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
We appreciate your help growing the podcast. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons. Go check out our website, whatsourverdict.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter to get exclusive content and updates, pick up some merch, interact with us, and listen to our What's Our Verdict TV episodes as well. The question we always ask is if you ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie. To help with that question, we put a movie on trial each week. We discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. This is our spoiler-free review where we'll rate the movie on a 3-tiered scale. Worth it, meaning you should find a way to watch this movie as soon as possible. Stream it, meaning wait until you can watch it for free. And finally, not impressed, meaning you shouldn't watch this movie at all. Our deep dive reviews are available every Monday wherever fine podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. And as always, no matter how you listen or watch, it's always completely free. Today we're reviewing F9, The Fast Saga, which the title alone just gives enough to tell you what this movie's all about.
Fast Saga?
Yeah, that's what it's called, F9. That's the official title, F9.
Oh my gosh.
The Fast Saga.
The word saga, like, believe it or not, is probably one of the bigger words that they use in this movie. Like, that's how just absolutely dumb this movie is.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And it was released June 25th, 2021. It was written by Daniel Casey and Justin Lin. It was directed by Justin Lin. It stars Vin Diesel, John Cena, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Natalie Emmanuel, Sung Kang, and Charlize Theron. The family drama continues as Dom's younger brother and rogue agent Jacob attempts to steal a powerful and hidden piece of tech. Yeah, I had to make up that tagline, that byline, because the one on IMDb is completely incorrect. If you've seen the movie here, it says Cypher enlists the help of Jacob. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to say what happens because that's a spoiler, but
that's like the opposite of what happens.
I was like, okay, so IMDb's wrong, so I had to make up that tagline. I was like, oh boy. Spoiler free. I'm going to go ahead and get mine out of the way here, fellas, because look, I went in with very low expectations because look, Fast and the Furious movies have gotten more ridiculous each and every installment. The difference between this one and those, though, is I've watched every single one of them. We were talking about this after the movie. I've watched every one from the beginning. I've even watched, like, early on, they did some of these, like, little snippets where they showed how Brian transferred from the first one to the second movie, and then Vin Diesel from the second or the first one to the third movie, which he made a cameo in. So it's like one of those things where I've watched all that stuff because the first one was a guilty pleasure of mine for a long time. Like, I enjoyed that movie pretty well. It was pretty bad as far as dialogue and some of the acting went because these guys were all new and young, but it was fun to watch. The cars were cool, had a decent story, but
because it was still about racing.
Right? Like, it's the only one that actually was
it's
about
the only
racing.
What about Tokyo Drift?
Well, that's fair. But even then, it was more about like cultural differences and biases and coming together than it was actually about racing.
Yeah, but settled or made worse by racing.
Fair enough. Yeah, but then like somewhere along the line, they just became this ridiculous movie. But there was still some entertainment value. Even the last one, The Fate of the Furious, there was like some entertainment level to it. Like, I laughed, like I had a good time. But I think this one, somewhere along the line, this one just missed the boat. And I don't know if it was because you took out
the very beginning of the line.
Oh, sure. That's fair.
From the get-go.
Yeah, just completely missed the boat right out of the gate. But I was trying to figure out last night as I was driving home, and then this morning as I've been thinking about what I was going to say about it. Where did they miss the boat? Is it because The Rock wasn't in this one? Is it because Jason Statham wasn't in this one? Is it those level of actors were missing? Because the other pieces, there's some huge actors in this, guys. Like, it blows my mind. I was telling Casey last night, you have 2 Academy Award winners and I think 2 more Academy Award nominees in this movie.
Which 2?
So Charlize Theron's won at least 1 Academy Award, and I'm pretty sure she's won 2 and been nominated for like 2 or 3. Helen Mirren has won at least 1. It was
Who's
nominated.
Helen Mirren? Which one?
She's Jason Statham's mom. So she's the lady that was
yes. Mhm.
yes. So she's won a couple. Kurt Russell's been nominated, and he was in it for a few minutes. You have and now my mind just went blank on who the other one was. Oh hell.
I didn't mean to derail you. I was just curious, but yeah, you're totally right. There's like some heavy hitters
sure
in here.
It's crazy. I don't understand.
Charlize Theron alone would make a movie better, and she did. Like, to be fair.
Oh yeah, whenever she was in it.
But like she can't work certain miracles here.
No. Anyway, and I just keep trying to figure out what is it that caused this one to be terrible, because this was terrible. It is awful. Even the ridiculousness of Hobbs and Shaw was entertaining in moments. But it was ridiculous, but it had entertainment value. This one, I was not entertained. I found myself more going, what the fuck am I watching?
And not in a cute way.
No, not in a
Hitman Bodyguard wife.
Hitman's wife's bodyguard. Well, we mentioned that after the movie, that this movie, I think, suffered a little bit too because of the movie we watched last week. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard was one that I went in with very low expectations as well. And it surprised me because of how entertaining it was. This one was not entertaining at all. They tried to be self-aware in some moments, which we'll talk about in the deep dive, but they were not. And it was bad. So with all of that said, and the ramblings and of a madman that's kind of pissed about this movie, and looking forward to the deep dive because I just can't wait to rip this movie to shreds even more, I'm giving it a not impressed. I never thought that I would give a ridiculous action movie with all of the star power that this has a not impressed, but I would skip it, guys. If you want to watch a movie that's ridiculous action, stupid humor, go watch The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. It's far and away better than this movie even remotely can ever be. So for me, it's a not impressed. Don't watch this movie. Just let it go.
Yeah, if you're dead set on a Fast and Furious movie, 1 through 3 is fine.
Yeah. Shit, 1 through 8 is better than this. Hobbs and Shaw, go watch that one. It's better than this. But just skip this one. Just pretend that 8 was the last one and you'll be good.
I can't believe this movie is making us push Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard after what we said about it.
We're like, I'm mortified that I recommend this movie. But after watching Fast and Furious 9, it is an amazing movie. Academy Award winning.
It was funny. I was thinking last night when I was driving home, I told Casey, I said I was ashamed last week that I gave it a 3.5. After watching this movie, I would give it a 4 to a 4.5.
Yeah, I feel way better about myself knowing that movies like F9 exist.
Yeah, this movie has made that movie even better and made me feel good about my rating.
Can I go?
Wretched. Yeah, go ahead.
So have you guys ever seen Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah.
Okay. In the immortalized words of Dewey, I expect nothing and I'm still let down. I know what I'm getting into now when I go watch a Fast and Furious movie. I know it's going to be ridiculous. I know that he's going to be driving a Dodge Charger through the backwoods of Guatemala. I get it. He's going to launch that same Charger off a cliff and slingshot it across a ravine. I'm like, okay, sure. I understand that.
Yeah. With
that said, this movie was still terrible, and not for those reasons. Right? No. That's not why this movie's terrible.
Not.
I think the only word that I can think of to describe this movie is just disrespectful. It's disrespectful to your time as the viewer that so many people signed off on this absolute dog shit for no reason other than they want your money, right? Yeah. There was no effort into making an entertaining movie. So disrespectful to you, your time, your money, disrespectful to real women's role models, disrespectful to the Latino American community, disrespectful to UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. Unbelievable. This movie, it makes me angry that I watched this movie.
Well, and I'll just add in, and I know where you're going with this, and we'll talk about it in the deep dive, but I would even say disrespectful to Japanese culture.
Oh, for sure. Comparing Japanese culture to Mexico, I'm disrespectful to both. Right?
One, and then the three characters. Anyway, no, that's a deep dive. Don't let me forget about those three characters.
We'll circle back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
There is so much wrong with this movie that way. The dialogue seems like it was written by an abandoned 12-year-old orphan girl, right, who is obsessed with the concept of family. And the acting, honestly, so Cardi B's in this, and she's somehow not the worst actress in this movie. So
yeah,
I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's bad. So I'm going to give this a not impressed. Seriously, like, I don't think we've said this for a ton of movies, but don't go watch this movie. Like, I think people might be curious, like I was. You know, you haven't seen a movie in a long time, and like Fast and Furious, while not great, hasn't necessarily let you down, right?
Yeah.
This one lets you down.
Yeah.
Don't go watch it. It is boring. I've never watched so many explosions and been so freaking bored.
Yeah.
So boring. Confused. Yeah. What even is that? Okay, I'm rambling at this point too. Well, jeez.
It makes you do that. And I can't, like I said, I can't wait to talk about it in the deep dive because there's so many things that I still have questions about.
Yeah. I'm going to pass this off to Ian. Not impressed. Yeah. Please, for the love of God, don't watch this movie.
All right, Ian, round out the spoiler free.
Is this going to be our first, like, across the board not impressed? Because
might be.
I don't feel like I can say, I don't feel like this movie deserves me to say much more about how terrible it is because you guys have, like,
well, normally I would be the one backing up the shitty action movie, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
Which, if Javier is not impressed with this, you guys should take that to heart because
my bar is so low for action movies, so incredibly low.
You would have had to have dug a hole, like an 8-foot trench, and then placed your expectation bar in that trench to be not disappointed.
Yeah.
So yeah, my thing is, my theory, I'm not like you guys, I haven't watched the last couple Fast and Furious after the, like, safe race through Rio de Janeiro, wherever it was in Brazil.
Yeah.
That was kind of like it for me. So I never would have watched this movie if it wasn't for the podcast.
Yeah.
And my theory is that the Fast and Furious movies are really just a couple of kids playing with action figures and Hot Wheels cars. And if they came out and said that's the universe or that's the reality of Fast and Furious, I would be like, okay, that makes so much more sense now.
It just pans out at the end. They're in that picnic, and it's really just a kid with like a G.I. Joe action figure, like Vin Diesel morphs into like a plastic figurine, and then these kids are in their room, and their mom's like, time for dinner, and then they throw Vin Diesel against the wall as hard as they possibly can, and then run downstairs. I would have been okay with that. Yeah, would have been a better ending.
Yeah, it would have. But yeah, this is a terrible movie. I've never seen a movie that's been so inconsistent and required such a large suspension of disbelief. Like it was ridiculous. Yeah, we'll talk about more in the deep dive. But
Ian, everyone knows that car hoods are softer than the ground,
you would think they were pillows.
Yeah, well, see, I was gonna say that actually becomes like more obvious the farther that you fall, right? So if you fall 10 feet, it's not that much softer, but if you fall 50, it's more like pillows.
Yeah.
And I will say magnets are like the most versatile object I've ever seen.
It's the greatest weapon ever created.
Yeah, it's just a mess. I don't have much more to say. I will say though, JJ, if you ever do get your Rodecaster Pro, I would love to get Superman's not impressed voice. So you could hit that.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna
not impressed.
God damn it! Now I've got to get one.
That's a great idea. Ian.
That is a great idea.
Yeah,
that'll be happening.
And then the worth it can be the Jurassic Park theme song. You know,
I don't know if I can take handling that song that many times.
And then middle of the road can just be some sound bite from the town. Right, whatever soundbite you guys want.
There it is.
Hell. There it is. I'm just gonna get the soundbite for stream. It'll just be Javier saying "middle of the road."
Middle of the road. It's a middle of the road movie.
I mean, considering that one of our best, one of my favorite reviews still says, except Javier, he's just middle of the road, right
Middle
down
of
the
the road
middle.
podcaster. That's hurtful because it's true.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, I think as you can tell, skip this movie. Fast 9, F9, Fast and the Furious 9, whatever the hell you want to call this dumpster fire of a movie is not worth spending your time or your money on ever. Just pretend that the mediocre movie that was Fate of the Furious, which was the 8th movie in this shit show of a debacle of series of movies, was the last one because it had entertainment value no matter how ridiculous it was. This one does not, so skip it. Don't even watch it. It's not worth it. None of us are impressed. If I had my Rodecaster Pro, I'd hit the button and say not impressed with Superman. So yeah, don't go see it. Do, however, come check us out, which you can do on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at What's Our Verdict at all three. Communicate with us. Let us know what you think about this movie after you've ignored our recommendation of not watching it and gone and seen it anyway, because we know that's going to happen, and that's okay. We want to know what you thought of it and why we might be wrong or confirmation of why we're right. The other thing we'd love for you to do is go to whatsourverdict.com. Go leave us a comment there. Tell us about what you thought of the episode again, or send us an email. Tell us how shitty we are directly at hosts@whatsourverdict.com. I don't know.
Or how awesome we are.
Yeah, this
Jeez.
movie's got me feeling very self-deprecating right now, and I don't know why.
I think I'm awesome.
Yeah.
If you email me, tell me how shitty I am, we prefer to throw hands.
And finally, please go ahead and leave us a review. Go to, at Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, wherever it is you listen, leave us a review. That one, tell us how awesome we are. It does help us grow the podcast. We appreciate it. We do appreciate you listening, and look forward to next week because it's not this movie anymore. We'll be ready to wipe the slate clean and start fresh. So with that, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
I got something for you guys real quick before we go.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Bye-bye now.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!